It has been reported that Earth entered into a new epoch on July 3rd, 2018. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the epoch of cosmic rays being delivered to planet Earth. So this is how the readings came out, and when many in the science community finally have acknowledged and recognized that something has changed. As you can see here on this graph and where the arrow is pointing, and if you look at the corresponding measurements, this is unprecedented. This has never been seen before, and the alarms are going off. It's going to impact Earth. It's going to impact every living thing on Earth. The consequences of what's taking place here is, well, maybe this is what the powers to be have been planning for. Who knows? All we do know is that it's here, it's happening, and there appears to be no reversing. So what are cosmic rays? Well, they're just particles. Cosmic rays are charged particles such as protons and electrons and the nuclei of heavy atoms such as iron. They are highly energetic, with the fastest moving at the close of the speed of light. Now imagine something that's so minuscule we can't see it, but it's passing through. And when it's traveling at those speeds and it hits your DNA, who do you think is going to win that one? We've gotten really good. This is the instrument that they knew when they sent this bird up back in the late 90s. ACE. I did a video on it. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. You will understand much more. All right, so where do they come from? Well, cosmic rays come from the universe, galaxies, stars. It's everywhere. You could say that maybe God is radiation. It is, again, everywhere present in the known universe. We know that cosmic rays also come from supernovas, exploding stars. Yes, just like our sun. And we record more and more of it. The instrumentation that we have is seeing more and more of it. And if we're seeing more and more of it, yeah, that means that there is an abundance of cosmic radiation. We understand how stars live, born, die. We understand now that not only while they are going through their life cycles do they produce radiation, but when they die, they produce abundant cosmic radiation. We know that universes expand, galaxies. We can actually see the remnants of these supernova. We can record them over time. And radiation is beyond our eyesight. Our instruments are telling us this. We know that it permeates everything. There is no exemption from this. It is everywhere, all the time, never stopping. And it's always expanding. We can see this again through our instruments. We know that as this nebulae continues to expand, this matter, this mass, folks, it is loaded with cosmic radiation. It comes in from every direction. No direction is prominent. It's, again, everywhere. And when you begin to look at how this, well, hits us, before, we always just looked at this as quite wondrous and awe. I mean, the universe is electric. We're learning this. Quite a different science, grant you. but it's becoming more and more evidence that it is a electrical universe. And now, with the theory of Dr. Albers, I think we can actually begin to include unseen stellar cores as a byproduct as well. We know that they're here. We know that something is out there. And as we learn more, we're understanding that radiation is, well, it's everywhere, but it also has unique properties about it. Yeah, it's really strange because we know it alters life forms. Now you think about this for a second. Cosmic radiation, particles bombarding nuclei of cells. Everywhere in the universe, no exemptions, no one gets a free pass. Could it be that this is what, in fact, is the responsible for altering, advancing, evolving life forms? It's altering all of us right now. As I speak, every one of us are being impacted by these particles hitting us. With a weakened sun, everything is impacted. As we've seen that we've had protection, our sun, as hard as it is on us, it gives us abundant protection. It protects us from the terminal shock waves coming in from the galaxy, the cosmos, the interstellar space. And folks, when the sun's heliosphere begins to weaken, everything is impacted. So how do cosmic rays impact Earth? Well, if you look at this model here, Earth is right in the center. And so we judge, measure everything from our perspective as being 0.000. And what we've learned is that we know where we stand in the position of our solar system. We understand our sun and how it basically lives, operates, and we're still learning more. We can see more of our sun. We're putting up instruments everywhere. Our machines now see more than at any time of recorded history of mankind. We understand how, with the termination of the heliosphere of our sun, as it begins to weaken and retract, how cosmic rays come in from the solar wind and beyond. It's all here. We understand as well that our Earth's magnetosphere has prevented, for the longest time, most of the particles from the sun carried on the solar wind and from hitting the Earth. Now, as you can see in this diagram, and I'll give credit to Miles Mathis, this explains the Van Allen radiation belt. A lot of times what we see in ACE and Discover is the result of this. And when we know that there are anomalies, not only coming off of the solar wind, but actually coming from behind the Earth, well, that becomes a problem. The termination shock waves, this is important because here we're showing the intergalactic cosmic rays. Now, they battle our sun. There is this battle between our sun, who is emitting cosmic rays itself, and the cosmic intergalactic radiation coming in from interstellar space. And folks, it's carrying not only at the speed of light, it's amazing what this is actually doing. And for the longest time, humans lived on this, never realizing how protected we truly were all the time. And so when you see this, remember, speed equals heat. So when it's coming in from the galactic wind, you can begin to see how it even hits our Milky Way. Our galaxy is impacted by cosmic radiation. And then you add the compound on top of that, and you put us in the whole scheme of thing, you can see there is a lot of it out there. And how it impacts the planet is that typically we see this, and because we can see the same thing on other planets and even our sun, is that we can see the effects up on the poles first, and then the shielded regions, which typically happen near the equator. But, and I do put the BUT there, that is now changed. We're seeing now that we're getting the mid-Atlantic anomaly. We're finding more and more anomalies where cosmic radiation is concerned at the equator, and it should not be showing up there. These are all the warning signs. Now, every time you see on this graph here, this is real time of cosmic rays, particles hitting, folks, that's hitting our DNA. You getting this? It's hitting our DNA. You can't deny this. You can't run from this. You can't seek shelter from this. It's not even known how far they can actually penetrate the earth, how far you have to go down. But what we do know, more CRs are hitting the ground, more instrumentations are picking up the readings, more are getting through our atmosphere. And any way you slice it and dice it, any way you want to interpretate the data, Earth is getting pounded. I've done enough videos on this. Dr. Albers has done enough videos. There are others out there that are seeing the causality effect of this. It's been expected by the amount of instrumentation, the machines that are looking, warning us. They have been preparing for this. They have known about it. And now all nations know. It's here. It's happening. It's happening in the effects of our weather, crop production, cancers, alteration of DNA, mutation of cells. It's all happening. And Earth's magnetopause is no longer protecting us, folks. Listen, if you start out with 100%, and that's your full charge, by the time you're getting down below 10%, would you not say that that would be a warning sign? Why, sure. And that's exactly what's happening. And when we talk about the penetration going through our atmospheric structure, you have to understand that this is impacting the ionosphere, the stratosphere. It's all the way down to the troposphere, which is you and I, our weather. Again, as there's more chemicals being put into our atmosphere, this is going to have a cause and effect. There's no other way of interpreting the data. Starting from the thermosphere, the mesosphere, the stratosphere, down to the troposphere, all are being altered. All. And if it's being altered up there, folks, as it is above, so it is below. And as both the sun and the earth's magnetopause, heliopause weakens, more and more cosmic rays are going to reach the ground, in which they are. Take this as a module of Earth, but put yourself in the cube. Imagine now that you have a particle coming in, bam, it hits your DNA. You don't feel a thing, but your body does. Now think about this as well in your environment. You have a particle coming in, bam, the interaction point. Particle number 2, bam, as a result, particle number 3. A lot of particles flying around, would you not say? Again, you will not feel the effect. as it hits our sensors, as we begin to realize and we break down these particles, we're seeing it impact the whole living genome of Earth itself. And Earth has been feeling it and telling us. It's been warning us. We just haven't listened. And folks, it's going to intensify. By all indications, this is an event that no one really knows how it's going to play out. And remember, we're not talking just a few of these heavy particles getting through. We're talking about trillions. Trillions. You know, we discovered that there are trillions of viruses from outer space floating, penetrating to the ground. It's already in progress. There's no stopping it. And again, as our sun continues to weaken, Earth cannot expect any protection. And we're seeing this. Now, this is real-time data. We have the instrumentation and the website where you can actually go and see real-time cosmic rays hitting us. Now, these are the ones we want to pay attention to. These are the little buggers that cause the real problems. Maybe they all do. These particularly are the ones that, well, seem to be the most harmful for life. And again, we've got the ground sensors. We now know it's happening, and you can see the spikes yourself. You just have to know how to read and interpret the data. The fact is, more of these cosmic rays are reaching the Earth. When the incoming cosmic ray particle first comes in, we typically had the first layer of protection, which was our atmosphere. You know, it collides with the nucleus of the atmospheric atom. Well, you know, it was a balance producing. Now, this produced a shower of secondary particles, which for the most part were absorbed in our atmosphere, but they are not now. So this becomes a real problem. So how do cosmic rays impact humans? Well, the only thing I can say to you, behold the transformation. Go and look in the mirror right now and listen to me, and I will tell you a story of how it's going to change you, your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and if we could go beyond that, who knows? What I can tell you is that our DNA is being altered. As the sun continues to change and weakening, what it's beginning to do is beginning to affect our cells. If you happen to fly, you're being exposed to more and more of this. You're actually just advancing the process opposed to those of us who are on the ground. We now have the historical data. We have been tracking this data. Much of the data coming from 2015, and it is alarming. Now we're finding more and more different places on the globe, all reporting the same increases. We're not talking 1 percentile here, we're talking double percentile. It only continues to increase. Now, we have no idea as to what it's actually doing, not only to the cellular structure of our bodies, but more importantly, what it's doing to our brains. I have a theory, ladies and gentlemen, that this may very well alter our souls. If the soul is connected to the body and the body directly connected to the soul, if the body is being changed, would not the soul change as well? And when you begin to add the increases of more and more cosmic sources of radiation, it is changing us. Here is the double helix. This is what you want. This is how you and I live. This is how all living things live. This is what happens when X-rays hit and what happens when gamma rays hit. Cosmic rays. It obliterates the double helix. There's no way for the body to repair itself. In this case, you have missing links that will be left out in the mutation going forward. And as we begin to see more and more of these damages into the strands, we begin to see this in the damaged human beings that are born with handicaps, mutations. This is where it comes from. It's everywhere, more and more reaching the ground. When we see those beautiful stars in the heaven, remember, some are sending a little package with them. This is changing us. It's changing us inside. If what is above is below, and if we look at our bodies as the fact is the electrical circuit that connects us to the earth and the universe, it's changing us. It's changing our carbon-based life form. And if this does not have a direct correlation to our chakras, then explain to me how you could argue that it would not impact. Maybe this is the imbalance that so many are finding. Maybe this is why so many of the power chakras seem to be out of kilter, out of balance. It's because it's electric, as is the universe itself. We are connected to the universe. We are electric beings. This is what's happening. And scientists are unclear about what happens when the brain is exposed to radiation from galactic cosmic rays. Our Earth is being impacted. You want to know about the Schumann resonance? We can track it now. We know it's being altered. We're seeing dramatic spikes. We're seeing wide fluctuations. These are all indicators of something much bigger going on. And we're starting to begin to comprehend and apprehend. The Earth heartbeat is accelerating. If it was a human patient, we would put that patient into hospital to understand and begin to diagnose why. Because it's not healthy. So I'm saying to you, don't panic just yet. But we ought to. The cosmic rays are here, and they're only going to get more intense.